Hello, it's been a while. This is just going to be a quick little update on where I've been, what's been happening, books, all of that stuff. So, where have I been? Well, cost of living, as I'm sure everyone knows at this point, is fucking terrible. So, in 2021, me and my partner were unfortunately really close to losing our house. So I went back to working retail. I was part-time to start with, and then I got promoted to full-time, and then I injured myself. So now I'm basically back where I started, except I'm not having migraines. I have a injury illness thing that I'm dealing with. So I dropped off posting much or at all because work was extremely overwhelming, and I was struggling to keep up with recording and editing and posting on here, as well as marketing my book and keeping up with my author socials. Instagram is probably the only place that I really kept up with, and that's because I've been on Instagram since its conception. So that's just what I'm used to. It's what's easy. I'm mostly posting my stories even to this day, but I'm trying to get better at it. I'm now in a position where I'm really lucky to not have to work, and that means that I can hopefully start posting and streaming again on here, as well as really focus on my writing. How is my writing going? It's going okay. I'm still getting used to being able to do it full time. I am slowly working out a routine that works for me, and I'm also working my way out of burnout because dealing with work, dealing with the injury, dealing with the editing and release of Greed, it totally burnt me out, and I feel like I'm now just coming out of it, and I resigned from my job in like September of last year. So I'm finally starting to feel like I'm getting creative again, which is nice, but it's definitely slow going and taking its time. How's my book going? Which one? Because I have two now. If you don't follow me on Instagram, you probably haven't heard of Ashwood and Brimstone. I actually have a second book out that came out in November, and that is Of Greed and Glory. Both books are set in the same world, but you can read them in either order. I personally recommend reading Greed first, just because it's a novella, so it's nice and short, gives you a quick little snapshot of what my writing is like, so you can see if you vibe with it. It's also just a really fun story, so I do recommend Greed and Glory first, just as like a little taster plate kind of thing. It's also available in Kindle Unlimited, so if you have a Kindle subscription, it's easily accessible for you there. They're doing okay, not as well as I would like, but better, of course, than I was expecting. I feel like every author, especially indie authors, expect nothing. At least I did. I expected to get nothing and nowhere with my books, so they're doing better than that, but they're also not doing as well as, my peers. And it's nothing to do with my peers, it's all to do with me dropping off posting as much literally like 2 months after the release of Ashwood really screwed it, and then not being able to post much for the release of Greed, just all of that stuff. It's all me, it's just my posting. I'm still trying to figure out marketing. Marketing is really hard, and it sucks, and I can't find what works for me, and when I feel like I find what works, I get shadow banned or whatever is happening on my Instagram. It's just not showing my posts to anyone. So I don't know what's happening there, but I'm trying to figure it out. I'm trying to get better. We'll see what happens. And what is coming up next? Finally working on Ashwood Book 2, and I'm also working on a vampire tragedy called Tenebrosa. So working on those is really exciting, especially working on Book 2, because Greed and Glory is now finished and out. My brain is like, yes, we can work on Book 2 finally. The vampire tragedy, Tenebrosa, is just a passion project. I love vampires. The vibe of this story is really fun. It's really atmospheric. It's very like gothic, and it's just a fun story to work on. It should be shorter, and I say shorter, it's my version of shorter, where it's less than 150k words. I'm hoping it should only be between 80 and 100 max, and I'm already 28k into it, so that's like relatively close to halfway being done. Ashwood Book 2 is a little bit more on the Wild West side. I don't know how long it's going to be. It could be less than the first book. It could be, 180, could be 200, could be 250 words. I don't know at the moment. I am not a plotter, I'm not an outliner, I'm not a planner. I just let things happen as they happen. I let them flow. So your guess is as good as mine with how long these books are going to end up being. I might make more videos going into some of these things a little bit more in detail, but I just really wanted this to be a little quick, like, here I am, here's what's happened. I'm also hoping to get back into regularly streaming. Just have to find a time that works for me and wait for my child to go back to school, because I don't particularly like streaming when they're around. So once I have the school routine, I can then figure out my own routine outside of that. And then, yeah, I think that's all I've got for you. So thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you in my next one. Bye.